So welcome to Comspark and Lingaro TED Talks. My name is Jan Venda and I will be your guest hosts. Joining me today is Todd Henley, Enterprise Data and Governance Lead at American Electric Power. And for our international audience, just introduce AEP is one of the largest electric utilities in the United States, delivering electric power to over 5 million customers in 11 states.
Yes.
So large company, large job. Welcome, Todd.
Oh, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
It's good to have you. And well, I know you're a data guy with over 20 years of experience. So that's what I will focus on for today. And well, in your job, right, with all the experience that you bring to AEP, how do you guys use the data to make the company successful, to run your analytics, and what's your role in that?
Okay. All right. Well, I was brought into AEP to build an enterprise data governance program in late 2017. And that was largely done to help improve our analytics. So we're using analytics in a lot of different areas, from improving our load prediction to understanding what happens during outages, to whether or not we can predict outages. Do we have vegetation laying on lines? Do we have lightning strikes? Do we have equipment failures? Understanding those outages and what happens to cause those outages helps us to understand what we need to bring to the field. Do we have to roll trucks? Do we have to bring specific equipment out to the field? So it's really a cost savings to the customer, so we don't have to keep going back and forth to different outage sites to figure out what the problem is. So it really helps us in diagnostics, trying to figure out what went wrong, where did it go wrong. It also helps us to understand our smart grid, trying to understand where we're going to need power the most, how the demand fluctuates through time, taking into consideration various weather conditions and other types of conditions that may affect load. So analytics is incredibly important. So my role is to help to provide a trustworthy data layer so that it can be leveraged appropriately. So we need to figure out, a data strategy that takes into consideration what our organizational goals and objectives are, and of course, analytics are included in those goals and objectives. And providing a data layer that can provide trustworthy, business-ready data to those analytics to help us make the best decisions that we can going forward, and to help us achieve those strategic goals and objectives.
Okay, it's you mentioned some of the aspects of the use of the data, which I found pretty fascinating. You would think utilities, that's something of a standard, but looks like to run such a company, you have to be pretty sophisticated in terms of data models, predictions.
Yes.
Those predictions, I guess they have to be based on what you nicely call trustworthy data. What are some of the challenges you see to get this data to this trustworthy level?
There are a lot of challenges. A lot of challenges are due to collection. So when you have a smart metering system, for example, sometimes the metering is, or the transmission of metering data does not transmit all of the data that it needs to transmit. So we have to go through a process of evaluating the data to determine whether or not what we're getting is something that should be what we're getting based on past performance. So that's one of the large challenges. So we have a meter data management system, so it's MDM, which is another overloaded acronym, that we use to take in all of that metering data and to evaluate it to make sure that it is what we expect it to be, what we anticipate it to be, and then to make changes according to our expectations, and then start using that data further in the analytics process. So that's one of the challenges. Of course, collection is always a challenge, no matter what industry you're in. So if it's even from the generation side, not just use, but for generation. So in generation plants, there are sensors all over the place that collect data that we also use for prediction of faults in various generation equipment. So it's always a challenge to make sure that those sensors are operating appropriately and pulling the right data so that we can say, oh, there's going to be a predicted fault in this piece of equipment. So we better start planning for not just outages, but planning to make sure that that outage is as in short of a window as possible, so that we make sure that we're generating at the at capacity that's required for the demand at the time.